Dr. Naim, thank you very much for joining us here on the program. It's been 405 days since the war in Gaza began, and there doesn't seem to be an end to the conflict. We've seen the way Gaza has been completely devastated and the impact on the people of Gaza. We're also seeing that the Israeli hostages haven't been released, the ones who remain in Gaza at the moment. The ceasefire discussions have also gone nowhere. Can you just give us an update on where things are at as far as the ceasefire is concerned?
Thank you very much. The last well-defined brokered deal was the deal of July 2nd. It was discussed in all details, and I think we were near to go for a ceasefire, to reach a ceasefire which can end this war, go for a permanent ceasefire and total withdrawal and prisoner exchange. Unfortunately, Netanyahu preferred to go the other way. He committed at least 2-3 big massacres in Mawasi Khan Yunis, in Gaza City, and then finally he assassinated our top leader, Ismail Haniyeh. After that, we didn't receive any serious proposals.
But Dr. Naim, you say the Americans are not serious, the Israelis are not serious, but Qatar, the country that is mediating between both sides, the Israelis and Hamas, also say that Hamas is not being serious.
I think the last press statement of the spokesperson of the Minister of Foreign Affairs here, Qatar, was clear that they are not ready to allow anyone to use the negotiations to continue the war and the aggressions.
But they're frustrated with your side as well.
No. I can mention now a lot of occasions where the Qataris, the Egyptians, and including, by the way, the Americans, Antony Blinken himself, where he said that Hamas was positive, Hamas was constructive.
We're 13 months into this conflict, and more than 43,000 Palestinians have been killed, 100,000 injured or missing. We've seen Gaza completely flattened. Ismail Haniyeh, the leader of the political office here, killed. Yahya Sinwar killed. Would you say that what happened a year ago on October the 7th was a massive disaster for Hamas, for the Palestinian people, given that this is the outcome?
I think you can say this only in one case. If the Palestinians were living in their own state, independent state, free,
but it wasn't like
in a dignified life. But you have to remember that the Palestinians are suffering an occupation for 76 years, that between 2000 and 2023, 20,000 Palestinians killed, that Gazans were suffering of a suffocating siege for more than 17 years. I mean, the Israelis were declaring publicly their plans to annex the West Bank, to Judaize Jerusalem, to expel the Palestinians.
Do you think, though?
I mean, October 7th was simply an act of defense, because what we have seen on a daily basis, what the Israelis planning is to expel the Palestinians and to deny their right to exist.
But in the history of this conflict, we have never seen the death toll reach this level, the level that we have seen in the course of the last year. Do you think that your actions further triggered the escalation of the things that we've seen?
It is exactly as if you are accusing the victims for the crimes of the aggressor.
Your movement launched an attack on Israel that left 1,200 dead and several hundred people who weren't in the military, innocent civilians, women and children, taken into Gaza. So you launched an attack which triggered then the events of the last year.
No, I am sure this is again the same Israeli propaganda and narrative, that as if the history started on October 7th. You have to remember that 1 week before October 7th, hundreds of Palestinians were killed near the borders in the Gaza Strip, suffocating borders. People were starving in the Gaza Strip. People were dying because of absence of medicine.
So no regrets about October 7 whatsoever?
Do you believe that a prisoner who is knocking the door or who is trying to get out of the prison, he has to regret his his will to be. This is part of our dignity. Part of our dignity to defend ourselves, to defend our children.
Let me just bring to your attention a new Human Rights Watch report that was published earlier, which accuses Israel of committing crimes against humanity and forced displacement of people. I presume that you are agreeing with them when it comes to this assessment. But that same organization has accused you, Hamas, of carrying out war crimes, as well as crimes against humanity, killing civilians, and then keeping the hostages as well. Why won't you release the hostages?
First of all, we have from day one, day two, we have stated clearly and publicly that we are ready to release our prisoners. But these hostages, the so-called Israeli hostages.
I mean, they're women, children as well, and the elderly.
We are considering them as captured Israeli prisoners anyway, regardless of the definition. But at the same time, you have never asked me, including most of the Western media, about thousands and thousands of Palestinians
I've asked
who are
Israeli officials about this.
Okay, therefore I say we are ready to release all these captured Israelis if they are ready to release our children, women, innocent. Thousands of minors are still in Israeli jails. Some of our brothers and sisters are now for 44 years in Israeli jails. The Western media were not talking about them like you are talking now about the Israeli hostages. We are ready to go immediately for a ceasefire, to end this war, to go for a serious prisoner exchange, to get our brothers and sisters free.
Well, I guess what the Israelis would say is that these civilians were sleeping in their beds, and some of the Palestinians in their prisons are people who have committed crimes.
I hope you can read. At the same time, you are mentioning human rights organizations like Amnesty International or Human Rights Watch, that you can also go through a lot of Israeli human rights organizations like B'Tselem and others who are talking how the Israelis arresting minors from their bed at 2 a.m., children under house arrest, women, men. Do you believe that these thousands of Palestinians in Israeli jails, all of them are freedom fighters? Most of them are innocent Palestinians.
Dr. Naim, I want to ask you about the change in government in the United States. We're seeing the Biden administration depart, and we're seeing President Donald Trump, who's now president-elect. What message do you have to him, and are you worried that he's going to take an even more hardline approach to the situation with the Palestinians?
Look, first of all, which president the American elect, this is their decision. This is not our business who is the president of the United States of America. But our message is clear. We are people who are looking for a better future. We are looking to secure a dignified, prosperous future for our children. Therefore, we are calling any president, including Donald Trump and his administration, to take the needed steps to stop this aggression, to stop this war immediately. We are ready to go for a ceasefire deal.
Dr. Naim, thank you so much for your time.
Please.